Hello everybody, this is Tim here again, here with another movie review, this time for the horror film Good Boy. Now, Good Boy is a film that was marketed a lot. It was really hyped up, especially when it was going to come out, when it was getting ready to come out, and the trailers and stuff, because it was going to be basically a horror film from a dog's point of view, kind of like a ghost haunting film from like a dog's point of view. I will say I've seen some disappointment in this film from some people because the film wasn't exactly what they thought it was going to be. Like, they thought this was actually going to be like a movie actually about like a dog like defending its owner or whatever from like actual ghosts and everything. Really, that's not what it is. It's more of like a dog like traveling like with its sick owner or whatever into a remote location and like, just like being there, and like the dog like going around in the house while the house is well, it sees like weird ghost like black figure type image or whatever throughout most of the movie until you get to like the end of the film. And the house that they go to is a place where like the dude's grandfather had actually died. Now the dog actually is goes by its actual owner's name that he gave it or whatever, Indy, in the film. I will say the dog's the best actor here. Like, the human characters or actors or whatever, their acting is just kind of okay, but they're good, they're fine in the parts that they're in because it's small. Like, the dude who plays the owner, like in most of the scenes, you can't even see his face. It's kind of like blurred out, almost like it being like, you know, Charlie Brown or something, where you can't see the adults' faces. I think that's mostly because it's supposed to be, it's all from the dog's point of view, which I get. And the dog trying to understand what's going on. Really what this movie is, and I can see why some people may not end up liking it, is that it's really just like a metaphor for death. That's really what this film is. The dog's owner is dying, and he's had him since he was a puppy, and what the dog is really seeing, this black figure and everything, what it really is a metaphor for is death. And there's scenes where like he looks at his owner and his owner turns black like the black figure or whatever. That's just to symbolize death, that, you know, that death is always with him, whatever, because he's dying. That's what it is. And then by the end of the movie, the guy like locks his dog outside or whatever because it accidentally bites him, because his hand transforms into like the black creature's hand or whatever. And that's mostly because, and that's, in my opinion, that's because that he is, you know, death, that death is with him because of the sickness. Like, the manifestation of the sickness is the black figure or whatever. That's the way I interpreted it. And really, you could just really, this movie is really like trying to be like an elevated horror film, even though it's more of a drama really than it is like a horror film. And by the time you get to the end of the film, when the guy like actually dies and his spirit is there with his dog, he gets like drug away by like the black figure or whatever. Then the dog goes down into like the basement, and there's the corpse of Bandit, I believe is the dog's name, who was like belonged to the grandfather or whatever, and the corpse was never found, which is kind of weird because if it was just dead laying in the basement, you'd expect it to be found. But the dog goes down there, and the guy's like spirit or whatever is telling him that you're a good boy, this is when we gotta separate or whatever. And then he gets like drug away to the afterlife or whatever, and his face like transforms into a skull. And then dude's sister shows up at the end and like takes Indy or whatever to, like, I guess, go live with her, obviously because it was her brother's dog, and so she's taking him to go live with her. Really, it's a metaphor for letting go is what this film is, and a metaphor for like the relationship between a pet and its owner, and how dogs are like really attached and everything to people. Really, you could see this whole film as they're not even like being an actual like an actual spirit version of death or whatever. You could just see the whole thing as this is how the dog interprets like what's happening or whatever, and that is just how it senses everything. Like, the dog will like have a dream or whatever about the other dog Bandit when he was there and everything. And really, you could just see that as like that's the dog's mind like working things out, because dogs, you know, and animals have like extra senses and everything, like working it out in its head and everything that happened. And at the end or whatever, when its owner's spirit is like getting drug away, you can just see that as like the dog still senses him like being there and everything. And it's really just like metaphorical, seeing him actually drug away, and it's this just the way it feels like to the dog and the dog's mind, because we're seeing everything from his point of view, you know. Like, you could really just read this entire film that way because it is all from the dog's point of view, and just like everything that the dog's seeing is supposed to be supernatural really isn't. It's just what the dog's sensing because its owner is literally sick and dying. Or even if you do see it as like completely supernatural, then really it still is just death, just taking the guy because he's dying, and he dies at the end. And it's pretty much just a metaphor for like a pet having to let go of its owner or whatever. Just like it would, you could do the same story with like two brothers or a brother and a sister or anything like that, just somebody having to let go. It would be the exact same thing. But what makes it interesting is that it is from the dog's point of view. Overall, this was a good film. I liked it. I didn't love it. It wasn't a great movie, and I do think it would have been stronger. It's just like a short for like some kind of horror anthology or whatever. But for what it was, even though it is short, it's on like 70-something minutes, I think. with credits, I believe. But yeah, I do think it would have been stronger though, just as like a 30-minute short or whatever for like a horror anthology. But as it is, this is a good movie. It just isn't a great movie, but it is good. I did like it. The dog's the best actor in the film, and I hope the dog gets more work. Overall, it'd be a 3 out of a possible 5 stars. It's good. It just isn't great. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again.